I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
Level with us. Hello and welcome to Level With Us, the show where we have a cozy video game discussion every week. And this week we've got a couple topics that we want to touch on. But before we discuss anything else, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the team at Yacht Club Games for selecting Mina the Hollower and Audio Tale as the art contest winner. They were having an art contest for Mina the Hollower, which was a game that they've been working on, and they put on Kickstarter, and I really wanted to enter the contest, and I did, and we won! Woo! So grateful to them for choosing it.
I think it's so cool it won because I don't know if there were any other audio drama-based media that was submitted, but they liked it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I thought that by submitting an audio play, because it plays to my strengths, I also thought it would just be really unique at like, oh, they wouldn't be getting stuff like this. And they didn't. This was like the only main kind of audio-based thing besides some music that some people made. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was looking through all the entries, and the diversity of mediums used is pretty staggering. Like, some people did like sculptures, some did 3D models, some did like playable games or demakes, or someone did a Lego castle. Just so many really, really cool ideas. And the more I've looked at them, and I've looked at all of them, all 130 plus, and they're incredible. Like, the more of them I see, the more humbled I am that Yacht Club Games would choose my entry. And of course, I couldn't have done it without you, Marcus. So thank you for scoring the piece and also giving me some pointers on the script when I was knee deep in writing it. And also, of course, a special thanks to our voice talent, Zachary, and our artist, Betsy, aka our younger sister, who provided the artwork for the piece. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to produce. If people are interested in kind of the process of making it, I posted a podcast-only episode a week or two ago, kind of discussing my thoughts into making it. The only thing I wanted to add, though, was just that it was a lot of hard work, which I anticipated with, the sound design and in editing everything together, coordinating with the voice talent to make sure we were getting the delivery I wanted. But the hardest part for me and the biggest surprise for me was actually writing. I don't do a lot of writing, and writing in verse is way harder than you think it is. Like, half the time, I was just trying to think of, okay, what's necessary information and what is just extra stanzas, right? Or am I not getting the point enough across? Like, what is important to put in this? And then the other half of the time, I'm just like, what rhymes with transform? Or what rhymes with validation, or just some of these big words that I kept deciding to end sentences with. It was very tricky.
Sometimes you have to reverse engineer it and be like, all right, this is a good rhyme, and therefore I must use this rhyme and make the story around the rhyme. And other times it's the other way around, where you're like, I need to find something that works with this story beat. So I was impressed by it. I've shared it with several people, and they've really enjoyed the old-timey feel of it, the kind of Edgar Allan Poe-esque poetry of it. So, I think it was a success in every sense of the word, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much for your help, and such a pleasure to participate. And once again, very, very grateful to Yacht Club Games. I would encourage everyone to please go check out the other entries. They're all fantastic. They're so fun to look through. We are excited for this game. We're excited to play it when it comes out, and we're excited to watch the development as it unfolds over the next year or so. So moving on, we also wanted to spotlight something that came up recently. Marcus, do you want to take it away from here?
Yeah, itch.io, the website, is doing a bundle for Ukraine. and I believe it's $10 minimum, and you get a couple thousand games, I think. Like, absolutely a heck a ton of games.
Yeah, games and like
soundtracks, RPG,
game developer packs, yes, tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah, so it's not just games, it's a lot of different things, but and all the proceeds go to helping our friends and brothers and sisters in the Ukraine. So it's a really cool opportunity to donate, and I love that they do this. They did something like this before, or they probably do it pretty frequently, but I also bought the racial equality bundle, which came out a year or two ago. But first off, for this one, even just like 3 games make it worth the price tag, if not like just one of these. We have Baba Is You, the puzzle game, Celeste, A Short Hike, Towerfall. With those just by themselves, that is, 4 times the worth of $10.
Yeah, there's a bunch on here. There's also lots of really weird, obscure stuff too, which, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be really fun to dig through this when I buy this, because I will be buying this. Even if I didn't get any games, I think it's a great cause that they're donating to. I believe part of the proceeds go to medical assistance in Ukraine, and the other part goes to a children's organization to helping children with PTSD and with the war, which is fantastic. So, there's only a few days left for people to contribute to this bundle, so we encourage everyone to do so. But yeah, I think it would be good to maybe spotlight a few of the games that interest us the most on here. And the first one that's listed that I actually kind of like is Skatebird. I don't like skateboard games, but in this game you play as a cute little bird wearing headphones on a skateboard, and that makes me interested in skateboarding games.
Oh, you don't have anything else to say about it?
Oh, no, not at all. Just that I want to try it. So
awesome. Well, I mean, if we're listing games that I want to try, but I have not tried, I've heard really good things about several of the games on here, including Crosscode, which is an action RPG, Wander Song, Cloud Gardens looks like a really zen game where you're planting plants on these like dioramas of apocalypse-esque architecture. It looks really interesting. And then Quadrilateral Cowboy is a 2000 cyberpunk game where you are a hacker, I believe. And that one also looks very intriguing. But part of the fun of these mega bundles is really just the discovery after you decide to get it. And honestly, I think by the time that this episode is released, there's probably like 2 days left. So if you are listening to this on the day we post it, then I would absolutely hop over there right now.
What's interesting about this whole bundle is like there's a couple big names right at the top of it, but then like as you scroll through, it gets more and more obscure, but then occasionally like a big name will just show up and like, oh, hey, Celeste. Cool. Tori 3D. I love that game. That's $1 usually, and you get Tori and Tori 2 on here. So that's 2 of the $10 on a fantastic game that's worth the money.
Actually, the last time I bought one of these bundles for the racial equality one, that's actually where I got A Short Hike. That's where I was introduced to that.
Right.
So who knows if other people buy into this bundle or other things like it. Maybe you too will discover one of your favorite games, a diamond in the diamonds, because they're all great.
Yeah, it'll be fun to dig through more. As soon as this podcast ends, I will be purchasing the bundle, and we are going to leave a link to the bundle in the description of this video or podcast, wherever you watch our show. And our final topic of today that we want to discuss is Risk of Rain 2. What is Risk of Rain 2, Marcus?
Ooh, you're wondering what's happening? Are we phasing out that phrase because it doesn't fit?
No,
all the time?
Actually, I do want to have what's happening be a segment sometimes. But I only want to do it when it's like actually the game actually does need explanation as to what it is.
As opposed to this one where, you hear the title of the game and you know exactly what it is.
Well, that's
right?
the thing is like I didn't know anything about this game until I actually played it. Like even reading stuff, I'm like I still don't know what this game is. So Marcus, what is even happening?
That's better. It's better. It has an incredulity as part of it that I like. All right, well, tell me how well I do then. Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person multiplayer roguelike shooter. You play as a survivor that's trying to escape an alien planet by fighting through waves of monsters and bosses in different otherworldly environments and biomes. And one of the central mechanics of the game is the longer you take, the harder it gets. Not just because you're further, but because of how long you're taking. There's an actual UI bar that shows you the current difficulty, and it's slowly getting harder the longer you take. So you watch it go from easy to medium to hard to extreme to impossible to these other interesting titles. Anyway, so yeah, multiplayer, third person, 3D shooter. Final answer.
It's a very arcadey game. You know, you become very familiar with kind of the biomes and the enemies with each run, and I don't feel like there's a ton of strategy to playing the game as much as there is trying to beat each level quickly and looting to get relics and things that beef up your powers. And some characters you do need to know how to play a certain way, but like in terms of like enemy variety, I don't know how much you play other than just, you know, run and gun.
I think that's a question of, like, do shooters require strategy? You know, like, does a zombie horde type game require thinking? I would say yes. It's just a kind of different kind of thing.
Fair enough. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know anything about this game until I actually started playing with you. And it was almost a trust exercise because I bought the game on your recommendation, which is not, I mean, obviously I trust you. But it was one of the first games I've gone into blind so that we could play it together. And we have played it together a few times. So I thought this game is way more fun in co-op than it is single player. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. I actually think that roguelikes generally make good multiplayer games. And it seems like there's a bit of a shift to that. I think Spelunky 2 is another example of that. Just the thing about roguelikes is, you know, there's this grind aspect of it, and there's kind of this mastery of knowing what things you're looking for to better your build. And there's something cool about doing a multiplayer collaborative experience where you are all, you know, figuring out your run, your strategy together. So I think that this is a really excellent example of a well-done multiplayer roguelike. I think the art style is really cool. I think that a lot of the relics feel cool and powerful when you get them to sort of stack. And I think that there's a lot of variety in the characters' abilities, which also make it a lot of fun to unlock new characters.
Yeah, I need to unlock some more. I only have a couple to choose from right now. But I do like how smooth the gameplay is with each one. And that there's gyro aiming, which I'm always a big fan of in shooters. So,
you know, it's interesting that you say that this was like a trust exercise for you, like you were going in blind, because I think probably 80 to 90% of the games that I play are going in blind, either from a game that you have bought or want to talk about on the podcast, or just a game where I hear the title of it, and for whatever reason, I don't really like to watch game trailers. I usually just like to try playing them. Yeah, and there's definitely some cons, some disadvantages to my style, because it means I can definitely be like pretty disappointed by a video game because I didn't realize it was different or not as fun as I expected.
Sure. Well, before we wrap things up, I do think we have some time for quick jabs.
And jab.
If I was to throw in a quick jab, it would just be that this game is repetitive by design. It's supposed to be something where you become more familiar the more times you play it. Which is fine. That's the game on its own terms. I just wish I could look at what my relics were after I obtained them. Like, even after I've played a few runs, I still don't remember what the little bandages do or what the little bullets do. And I wish I could pause the game and look at them, you know, just like you can in Slay the Spire or something. Just so I can be reminded, okay, what am I doing here? Like, what do I excel at? What should I capitalize on? What should I seek out to make my build especially specialized, if that makes sense. Just things are a little opaque in that regard.
Yeah, I wonder if that might be because we played it on Switch. Maybe that's more easily accessible to see what your relics do online.
Oh, on the PC, you think?
I wonder. But actually, if I was to do a quick jab, it would be the same thing, just opaqueness generally. I feel like this is the type of game where it doesn't tell you exactly how to play in a lot of ways. It doesn't give you very much information about the relics. It doesn't really give you much information about how to unlock characters. Some people just kind of enjoy that. They kind of enjoy the discovery aspect / looking up guides online, which we've already talked about not being huge fans ourselves of that, but a lot of games kind of go with that format.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true. And I do see, I see this game as something that, yeah, if you're in the community and you're discussing, oh, these items pair really well together, or oh, I just had an amazing run where this happened, then yeah. But just casually, I'm someone who really likes to know the rules and how things work, and I like having a guidebook or something I can click on and read to make sure I understand what's going on and I'm not, just flying by the seat of my pants. But it was fun to play it with you, so thank you. It's nice to have an online game we can play together. Most of the games we play on this show, we play, individually or separately before we discuss them. So
right.
It's, that was kind of fun to experience it with you.
Yeah. Well, I will just throw one other recommendation, how about this instead, if you will.
How about this instead?
And that would just be Hades. I can't remember if we've talked about it before. I hope we find an opportunity to talk about it in the future because it is one of my top games. But Hades is a roguelike that just does so many things so well, including story, character design, voice acting. Long story short, it's a very good game if you like roguelikes. It's just one player, but it's a recommendation that I would give to almost any gamer.
Well, I do think it would be fun to revisit it sometime, maybe on the podcast. Just kind of seeing how it stacks up a year or two after release, because I did enjoy Hades as well. It's another good example of a company making a certain style of game and then just choosing a genre that really clicks and fits well with their philosophy of how to design games. So, yeah, maybe we'll cover it at some point. But I think that will about do it for today. So, until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Marcus.
And we'll level with you next week. Quick side note is if you want to know what my reaction was reading the post.
You did a reaction video?
No, I did not do a reaction video, but I'm going to do a reenactment of what my reaction was.
Oh, even better. That's less self-serving than doing a reaction. Absolutely. Go for it.
I was just about to go to bed, and I opened up my email, as I'm prone to do, because I really wanted to know the contest results, and they made us wait for quite a while. Because obviously it took a long time to judge all the entries. And I pulled out my email and I saw there was an update. And I was like, my heart started beating. I'm like, oh no, oh boy. And I opened it up and I just slowly scrolled and got to third place. And I watched the third place entry and I was like, that was really good. It was an animation. I was like, that's amazing. And I almost had some relief at that point because I was like, okay, clearly, the third place entry is so great. I don't need to worry about did I get, in the top 3 or not. It's just, I'll just enjoy the rest. And I look at number 2 and it's this highly detailed, amazing interpretation of the game, this beautiful piece of artwork. And I was like, oh yeah, see both of these were number 1 material for sure. And then I scroll and I see Level with Us. And to reenact my reaction, it would have been something like, no. just so much disbelief and excitement, and had to run and tell my wife. It was such a magical time.